during these trainings, I really want to focus on giving you guys like tangible action items and scripts that you can plug and play and go out and start using. And so we're going to focus on the database that we have. And as we've talked about in the last few weeks, and even during business planning, I think there's this misconception that you need to always go out and start chasing all these new leads or buy new leads or pay for these lead sources. But really, there's so much gold and so much money to be made from the database that you already have of previous clients, people in your sphere, people in your network. And it's up to you to capitalize on that. And so, right, as we know, 80% of your future business will or should come from people that you've already worked with or people that you already know. And so I really think the beginning part of January is primed to start having these conversations. Everybody psychologically, right, is in that reset. New year, new me. I'm going to look at what I want to accomplish in 2026. And so people are already in that right mindset of having a reset. They're imagining what their lives are going to look like this year. And if real estate is something that's in their plans, right, they're starting to ask themselves questions about homes, right? What is my goal? When do I think I should list my house? Or when should we maybe start looking at homes? And how that all fits into the year ahead. And so, right, a lot of people are just firing off generic emails, Happy New Year, let me know if you need anything, right? But I want to encourage you guys to pick up the phone and call. Have a real conversation with people and generate business for yourself that way. I think as the market stabilizes and shifts a little bit, the agents that are going to set themselves apart from everybody are the people that are going to strengthen the relationships with the contacts that they already have and doing so in an authentic and genuine way. And that means picking up the phone and calling, right? Not just firing off 100 emails and hoping somebody gets back to you, but being intentional and targeted about who you're reaching out to, why, and when. So again, right, psychologically, what's happening? 43% of people are setting housing related goals in January, right? Are we going to relocate? Are we going to upgrade? Are we going to downsize? And so as your database is already in this mindset, you don't have to introduce that idea, right? You're just tapping into something that they're already thinking about and positioning yourself as the person that's going to help them make that happen. I think a lot of agents still are stuck in holiday mode or winter mode, right? The agents, not like you guys, right, who took half of November and December off, are still trying to get revamped. They're trying to get that energy back and get back into work mode. And so they're not the ones picking up the phone and calling these people. Your database also isn't really expecting your call right now. And so if you can lead with value and authenticity, I think you're going to find that your contacts are going to be pleasantly surprised and happy to have these conversations with you. And so use this time in January where you don't have to fight for attention, right? You're the person that remembers your past clients or people in your network. And so just having those, genuine good conversations will translate into future business. And also, right, we know that January is prime time at the beginning part of the inventory growth. And so January to March, we saw it last year, 2025, 16% growth in inventory. And so you have to set yourself up for those opportunities to capitalize on that right now. And use this time too, right? If you have active buyers, explain to them, we should go lock you into something soon because you're going to face far less competition than you will in, March or April. So again, this is why January is prime for you guys to have these conversations and lock in business that's going to close in the next 30, 60, and 90 days. There's more buyer opportunities that are going to hit the market with less competition. We see the number of offers submitted on properties increase 5% January through March. And again, that goes to that competition piece. And we're currently sitting at about 38 days on market. And so if you have a serious buyer, there are some really good deals to have out there. And you can position your buyers right now as, hey, if we can get you into something now, you're still in an opportunity and a position to negotiate, right? If we wait until March or April, your negotiation fades away and now you're invested in a bidding war. So again, like the scripts we talked about last week, which strategy feels smarter to you? 9 times out of 10, right? If they're smart and know what they're doing, they're going to say, hey, let's go negotiate. And so here's some scripts you can use and what to listen for. This is the just kind of warm check-in, people that you've worked with in the past 2 years. Maybe these are some leads who have kind of gone cold over the last, 6, 12, or 18 months. Maybe they mentioned, yeah, eventually we want to move, or we'll move at the end of our lease, or we'll move when the kids are done, right? Pick up your phone and give them a call and just say, hey, I was going through year-end stuff and your name popped up. So I thought I'd reach out and see how 2026 is treating you so far. How are things going? Anything new with your plans on, housing? Again, this works really well because it's low pressure and you're asking about them. You're not selling them anything. People love to talk about themselves. And so they're going to open up about potential major life changes that you weren't aware of. And so the key phrases to listen for here are, right, like, oh yeah, actually, we've been thinking, we do need to downsize. Or, yeah, our family is X, Y, or Z. Or funny you ask, like, oh man, can't believe you called. Listen to those trigger words and then follow up with, oh, that's awesome. You know what? I think the timing might actually work in your favor right now. Does it make sense to grab coffee or lunch this week? Right? Again, you're providing them value because they're telling you, yeah, actually, here's what's happening. And you're aligning yourself, right, with their needs and their goals. A couple more, powerful conversation starters. The first one for buyers who didn't find their home or people in your sphere that are following the market and might be right on the edge of jumping in. Hey, Steve, I realized I never followed up after you stopped looking last year. Here's why I'm calling. Inventory grew 16% last year, and January is when serious sellers move. I think there are some really great options out there that you might want to see. And this works because you're giving them new information in regards to their previous search. And again, you're being helpful and not pushy. These people already said, hey, I want to go out and look for a new house. They didn't find what they were looking for. And as we know, right, life changes, they forget about it, priorities change. Reintroducing the new inventory to them could get them re-engaged and remotivated to go out and find what they were looking for last year. The second strategy is great for people who have ever mentioned selling, moving, downsizing, relocating, right? Like, hey, Steve, I've been thinking about our conversation last year when you mentioned maybe wanting to sell your house. The market shifted a lot in 2025, and that changes what is actually smart timing. Would it make sense to grab 15 minutes and talk through what your move this year could look like? And again, this works because you're setting yourself up as somebody who's strategic and an expert in understanding the market. You're not calling them and going, hey, Steve, are you ready to sell yet? You told me last year you were, so what's taking so long? And it shifts their psychology from when do you want to sell your house to when you do sell, how are we going to win? How are we going to get you the most amount of money for your house that you've already told me you want to sell? I'm going to set you up to be in the best position possible. As you're having these conversations, right, there's a lot of different things that could pop up. And as you're going through your database, right, look for these few things. The first one, anybody who's had major life updates. Maybe somebody got a new job, their kids have graduated high school and they're out of the house now, they've retired. This is, again, major life events are the #1 trigger for real estate decisions. And so call with genuine interest in the relationship you have with that person and say something like, hey, Steve, I heard you got a new promotion at Culver's. That's awesome, right? Has anything changed on your home front for you? Any questions you have for me, or have any of your needs changed? Right? Tap into what has changed in their life and how it might affect where they live. The other part of your database that you should tap into heavily is, right, your sphere contacts, your friends, past clients who also have big networks, and ask for those referrals. 2026 is going to be a huge year for us. Do you know anybody in your circle that might be thinking about a move? I'd love to be a resource for your people. Right? If you have great relationships with people in your sphere or your network, they love referring people that they know to people that they trust. But they just need your permission to do so. I had a situation pop up a few years ago where somebody called and said, hey, I have this buyer or this person I know at work who wants to buy a house. I was going to refer to this other agent over there, but she seems so busy that she probably doesn't have time. So I thought I'd send him your way. Right? If the perception is that you're too busy for business and you don't ask for it, it's going to circumvent you. And so tap into your network and tell people, I'm available for your, coworkers, for your family, for your people at church. Would love to be a resource for the people that you know and you care about to help them with their real estate needs. Give them that permission to send you business. And so here's what a quick framework can look like. Obviously, Monday was yesterday, so you can't really start there, but print this off or put it on your desk or calendar, put it in your calendar and time block it. But start on Monday morning, block 90 minutes, open up your database, and put it into 3 different categories, right? Who are my recent clients from the last 2 years? What group of these people were past leads who were serious about buying or selling at one time? And who's in my general sphere, my contacts from my network? Spend Tuesday afternoon making 5 calls. I'm not asking you to make 20 calls or 50 calls. Pick 5 people and make high quality, high value calls to them. Use the scripts that we just went through, and your only goal here is to listen and learn about where those people are in their lives. And again, listen for those trigger words. Oh yeah, actually, or life changes. We were thinking about downsizing, or we were thinking about needing a bigger house now that the kids are getting bigger. Also listen for hesitation, right? Yeah, we thought about it, but I don't think the timing's right. And then know the appropriate follow-up strategy, right? If there is interest or if there is something that those people need, schedule a meeting or a coffee or a lunch. Get in front of them the same week that you had that conversation. If there's hesitation, that's a huge opportunity to, again, be that strategic expert, providing them whatever information they need, because hesitations or no's just means either not right now or I don't have enough information to move forward. And so if you hear hesitation, right, let them know, hey, I'll send you some market info. I'll check back in with you in 15 days or 30 days. Give them that information that they're lacking so that they can make an appropriate decision. And if you do this consistently, right, you have 3 to 5 really genuine conversations with people who already know, like, and trust you. I think you can get 1 to 2 of them who show immediate interest. People that are ready to continue moving forward or start, diving back into selling or buying a house. You're also likely to generate, right, 2 to 3 future opportunities. Again, a no doesn't mean no forever. It just means no right now, or I don't have that enough information. And so even if you have those calls, it doesn't mean wipe them off your database, right? Schedule those future check-ins and stay in front of those people. And this is how you can build a consistent pipeline from your database. And again, you don't need 1,000 people in your database. You can do this really successfully with 100. Because it's not about high volume. It's not about how many people you can send emails to, right? It's about having high value conversations with the people that already know, like, and trust you. I promise you, you could be wildly successful with 50 people in your database using this strategy. And so I'm going to encourage you guys, right? Go make those calls. Commit to yourself. I'm going to make 5 really high value calls this week. Because your database isn't a list of just past clients or people you once knew. You got to start thinking about your database as future business sitting in your phone or your CRM right now. And so the only reason you're not closing more deals is because you're not talking to the right people at the right time. And January, to wrap this all up, right, gives you permission to do that. We're in that reset mode. We're in that check-in mode. We're in the what do I want 2026 to look like mode. And so the people are already thinking about it anyways. Put yourself in a position to be the person who remembered them, remember the relationship you have with them, call them and make them feel valued. I promise you the strategy isn't hard, and it also doesn't take a long time. But you don't know what you don't know until you ask. You don't know if Steve and Mary are sitting there thinking about downsizing because you haven't picked up the phone and called them. And I can guarantee it also, right, when Steve and Mary's house hits the market in 2 months, you're going to be upset. And so the opportunity is there, and I really encourage you guys to take it. Any questions?
No.
You gonna make 5 calls?
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of the phone. Don't be
You'll
afraid
be
of
happy. I
people.
just emailed a potential seller that I talked to last year using some of your script.
I told you to pick up your phone, Nancy.
I know, but I did. He works during the day, so at least I did something, and I did a Facebook post.
Good job.
I do really like the scripts. I think that those are super helpful.
Yeah, I'll
I
have
do
Mark
too.
throw back into a flyer and I'll get that posted again today. But you don't have to reinvent the wheel here, right? Pick up the phone, call people, ask them how they're doing and how you can be a resource or of assistance. There's so many people that don't do that. And so the business is out there. I think the market is primed for it. We're going to see growth in inventory and in sales this year. And I want you guys to be the agents that are taking a bigger piece of the pie. Because you work hard for it, you deserve it, you know how to do it. It's just about going out and executing.
Perfect. Thank you.
You bet. You guys have a good Tuesday. Thanks for joining this morning, and I will talk with you all soon.
Bye.
Take care.
Thank you.